Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Derek, and you are watching another episode of Not Another Podcast. Yes. So today, I got a very special guest with me, my brother from another man. I'm so happy to have been doing this because this was like an episode that was long overdue. But you know, everything got to get situated accordingly, man. So without further ado, man, my man Vic, my brother Vic, man, welcome, bro. Welcome to the building, man. Welcome to Not Another Podcast, bro.
What's up with y'all, man?
Listen, man, you know, so introduce yourself to the people, man. Let them know about you, what you stand for, and everything like that, bro.
All right, first things first, I've never done a podcast before, so y'all gonna have to forgive me, but my name is Vic, better known as Vic. Y'all should just call me Vic. So
I love it.
You know what I mean? Basically doing this, you know what I mean, for my boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We come a long way from our friendship to brotherhood.
Facts.
And,
Facts.
you know, I don't regret it one bit. So
yeah, man.
Glad to be here with him.
So Vic, man, so you know, just so everybody knows exactly what you stand for and what you're about, man. Christianity. You're a Christian, right?
Definitely a Christian.
So tell the people a little bit about like your walk and how you started, how you grew up, and how you got to where you are today.
It's a bit of a story, but basically I grew up in a church setting, actually, with my family being Jehovah's Witnesses. So yeah, it was kind of like something that I didn't really know, but you know, I knew I went to church. I knew I was, you know what I'm saying? I knew I was in the Bible with it and at church with it and
yeah.
Real strict. So kind of now my revelation would be just knowing that I had recently actually just asked my mother what we were back then, and I, not to my knowledge, she had, you know, let me know.
So you wait. So you saying like you didn't even know that you were Jehovah's Witness? Like you was just going with the flow? That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Yeah, man, and you know, honestly, I give all glory to God for just putting me in this position, even being raised in a Jehovah's Witness church, and I didn't even know I would get this far with what I got going on and walking in my faith with you or whatever. But
so how did that growing up in that type of setting, how do you feel as though that impacted who you became and who you were developing to be?
Honestly, it had its positive and its negatives. Okay. So the positive, it being kind of like a structure that I like, I really didn't know about, but I knew it was something that was good, that it had good intention. Okay. I think the problem with that was though, how strict it was. I didn't know how strict it was until I grew up. But like I said, in a sense, it gave me structure. It made me see things like they should be seen. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of where, you know, good was good and bad was bad, but the real good was good and bad was bad. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Not like, you know, what society thought or whatever the case is, because not for nothing, if you don't know, Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah, they real about their stuff, so they real strict, and even as far as to say like they'll cut you off if you're not following what they follow, and that's as far as I know about that, honestly. But
so can you so what type of, when you talk about strict, bro, what type of things, if you could think of anything, what type of things that you would say were like strict that you remember?
Maybe just like the way you dressed and the way you carried yourself. It had to be to a certain standard, not like come as you are type of thing like the Christians do and stuff like that. So you know, basically that you had to abide by the book to the T, as you will. But yeah, that was really much it.
Okay. So you grew up Jehovah's Witness, and then at what point, I'm assuming at some point you were like, yo, I'm not doing this anymore, or like you faded away from the religion, you know what I'm saying?
Well, honestly, it was my mom. My mom had brought us out of that, and it wasn't like I said, like none of this to a certain point of a certain age was to my knowledge. So I was just doing whatever my mom was doing. I would follow whatever she would do and go to church as she went. But I had a stepfather. And I always called him my father, but he was really into it. He was really like the one that used to go to people's houses and preach to people and stuff like that. And like I said, it wasn't really something that I knew was prominent to them. But in all actuality, when I asked my mom, and it's sad that I had to ask my mom about it, but she told me basically that she got me out of it because she knew that wasn't the route that I should take. She felt like as long as I had that structure, that I could be free from that and eventually find my way to whatever I wanted to be. So not for nothing, I commend her for that. And I feel as though if that hadn't been the case, I honestly would still be a Jehovah's Witness.
Dang. Okay.
And that's big to me, not for nothing, because right now in my walk of faith is really something important to me. It's something that for a lot of people is just Jesus, just God, it's just, or somebody up there. You know what I'm saying? But it's not somebody up there.
Right.
It's not just somebody up there. It's not just a spirit or it's the God. It's Jesus that came down and it's all in one. And I don't care about none of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. I'm sorry.
Facts, man. So, your mom got you out of that situation, and then just paint a picture of like where were you at before you decided to give your life back to Christ or give your life to Christ.
Basically, I was in Allentown. I came here from I lived in Boston for a little bit, and I lived in Rhode Island for a little bit. I've lived a lot of places. Honestly.
Dang, so you wasn't a Patriots fan though? Like,
nah, unfortunately I wasn't. I grew up a Celtics fan in a sense, but I ended up
Don't do that. That's crazy. don't disrespect Tom Brady or New England. Don't do that.
I mean, you're gonna give credit where it's due, but
7 rings, baby. But shout out to Tom. GOAT.
The Giants, man. This is where we're
not going to talk about that.
Matter of fact, not even the Giants. I'm gonna say Eli Manning.
We're not going to talk about
Manning
that.
Crossed that line.
Shout out. You know what? Shout out to David Tyree, man.
Hey, man.
Shout out to David Tyree and Mario Manningham. Like, y'all got the luckiest hands I ever seen in my life, bro. We lost twice to a lucky catch, bro. That's crazy. Nevertheless. So you grew up in Rhode Island. You grew up in Boston. You were finding your way.
I was born in the Bronx. Lived there for a bit. I have family there still. But basically, I've just been everywhere. As far as like where I've been in life, you know what I'm saying? And still at a young age, I ended up here. I ended up here around like, early 2000. Ended up going to school here through my high school years and even after. And if you know, Allentown, a little rough, little mini jungle, if you will.
You call it that?
Yeah, man. So I hate to say it, but I grew up rough. I grew up a little, on the rough side, but we made do with what we had, and that's really what it came down to. Like, I came from here, but
so how did that mold you? We talking about growing up rough. You know what I'm saying? Let's step away from Christianity for a second. Let's just talk about how you grew up, man. What type of effect did that have on your life, and what type of character did you develop growing up that type of lifestyle?
Well, growing up, it was kind of like first off, I'm the only boy out of my mother's 4 kids, so I have 3 sisters.
Wow.
And barely had a father. But it was something that I never really looked at as anything, just because it was so regular. It was like really just normal to me, and I really thought that's just how it was. You know what I'm saying? Even when I had that stepfather or my sister's dad, it was pretty much like really at a young age, like 7 years old maybe. And I came out here alone, 7 years old, with my mother and my sisters. And that's it. Just my uncle and my aunt helped me out. God bless them, shout to them.
Yeah.
So from that point, it was really like I really was on my own. It was really like I had to find my way. I had the male figures and people as you want to call it to be supportive, but eternally I had to find my own way, and it was something that it was kind of a rough thing, but I kind of find myself where I set my base to where it was I was from here. I was from however you want to call it, but I didn't want to be known as that. You know what I'm saying? I always said that like I was from that, but I have class too. You know what I'm saying? Like I always try to hold my standard to that. I'll try to hold myself to that standard. So it was really much trying to overcome a lot of ridicule and things that I had to go through by myself because I didn't have a father, and from that it was like I just had this humbleness in me that I would always be my own man. You know what I'm saying? So that really like molded me for real. Like I knew at a certain point that when it was relevant to me that I didn't need a father, that all these kids have fathers, and me and probably a couple of my friends, we didn't have fathers, but like it's not to say that we were better than anybody, but not for nothing, like you know how kids look up to their father and stuff like that, want to be like them. Like I ain't have nobody to look up to, so I couldn't. Not that I didn't want to, and I wish I did, but I couldn't, and it was something that I couldn't change. But at the same time, I had to deal with it, and I had to go through my struggles on my own, and my emotions and stuff like that, and not knowing how to deal with my emotions. So that was something big that I had to, circumnavigate into. So, it was something that pretty much molded my character. Now, what molded my faith was pretty much knowing this all the time, knowing that I was a good person and knowing that God was love, and not for nothing, I didn't question once. I ain't question once who Jesus was. For real. Like I knew who Jesus was, and I know who Jesus is. You know what I'm saying? And just recently, probably like I would say like 2-3 years ago is when I really started putting the work in to glorify and exemplify who he is for real. So that really much.
That's deep.
Made that what it was.
That's what's up, man. So tell me about it, man. Like, how was it as far as the start of what? Let everybody know what prompted you. How did it feel? What type of difficulties you went through as far as like your friends, like,
Well, like I said, it was really much where I'm coming from. Describing it a little bit, it was a lot of people that weren't accepting of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't have money, if you didn't have like, the highest end clothes, or if you didn't have like the, whatever you got whenever you wanted, then you was kind of looked down on. And I'm sure it's like that in a lot of places, but
it's still like that.
Yeah, that really struck me at an early age. And it's crazy because I remember when I had my stepfather and we had it, but I don't remember being picked on or nothing like that. I don't remember that. It's when I came out here that it was kind of like, dang, I ain't know why I was being picked on. I ain't know why I was getting into all these fights. But then I had to, I didn't care at one point, and I had to buckle down and tighten up, and that I had to fight a lot. So so it was something that I learned that I honestly, that what separated me from other kids is that they had both parents in their home, and not even to make that an excuse, but logistically it's well, logically, I'm sorry, it's really like that's the product of who I was, who I became. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if I had a dad too and a mom, that it'd be so much easier. Like I could get what I want, I could get this and that. And it really wasn't. I had a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Step pops here and there, but they ain't care about nothing. So it was like, I was really on my own. Like I said. So there came a time that I had to.
So what like, so as far as you said about 2-3 years ago, you really started to be intentional with your walk with God, your walk with Jesus, and really start to like walk in your faith. if you don't mind sharing, and it's cool if you don't mind sharing because everybody got a different testimony.
No, I do.
Tell us a little bit about that. What prompted that? What started that? What clicked for you to say like, yo, I really got to give my life to Jesus?
Well, it came to a certain point where I felt like I was in a constant struggle. Okay. Not only with my spirit, but like my situations. Like I knew there was Jesus and I knew there was God, but I never really applied it, and I never really had a direction as to how to follow that, and even to have a life, just have a life. Wow. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because my life just consisted of struggle, and it's kind of hard to try to believe in something when you're in the struggle, but at the same time it clicked. You know what I'm saying? It clicked like 2-3 years ago, like I said, and that was honestly when I was at my lowest. I could remember I was like, you know, in a way homeless and stuff like that. So, you know, it's something like that you can't be embarrassed about. You just can't, because you can't forget where your faith led you. Like, you can't forget that. So
talk about it.
It was a certain point. Yeah, it was a certain point where my struggle was really dominating my life, and you know, I ended up getting this job at DHL, and I met this dude. His name was Derek.
All love.
To my left, man.
All love.
And honestly, it really started mad random. It started mad random. I'm like working. I'm like into the world. I'm thinking about what I'm doing this weekend and stuff like that. And I'm like seeing Derek, and Derek like just like me, and not for nothing, in the beginning it was kind of like, you know, Derek a supervisor and I'm a worker, so I'm like, yo, what this fool do? What he want from me now? You know what I'm saying? Always wanted something for me to do, something like that. And not for nothing, it's like it wasn't. I'm not really a person to think in a malicious way, but like I said, I was in the world, so I'm just like, yo, what this fool want, man? Like, leave me alone, let me work. And he pulled up on me one of these days, and one day, and we were just talking about just something random. I remember it was like, yo, why is this dude like this? And I was like heated, and he kind of like talked me down a little bit, and I kind of opened my mind. So I'm like, you know what? That's crazy. This dude like really, you know, from where I'm from, if anything. And
yo, hold on, wait. And not for nothing, like I remember it was me, you, and somebody else. I ain't gonna name them, but like I forgot. Not for nothing, like it was females in there. Mm-hmm. Like, if we can be very transparent, it was females in there, and one of the females was walking past, and I'm not gonna hold you, they had a body, but long story short, long story short, I'm trying to make it short. Long story short, one of the people was like, yo, look at Shorty or whatever. It was that type of vibe. And I was just like, nah, man, like, we got to stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about that. Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what it is. And I remember you saying like, I remember you just being intrigued by it. And then the other person was even like, no, you know what? Yeah, you're right, bro. We got to stay focused. We can't be focused on that. Da, da, da. And then I started talking about like God and Jesus and stuff like that. Yeah. And Vic was like, what?
Yeah, no, hold on. Let me cut you off real quick. Because one thing about me is I'm real analytical. Like, well, if you where you from or whatever, it just teaches you that naturally. It teaches you to watch your surroundings or watch whatever's going on. So not for nothing, I could walk into a room and I already looked into the room. I already looked at anybody and everybody who was anybody without even turning their head. So not for nothing, I analyzed that, and that was one of those particular things that I analyzed, because this world is so worldly and so fleshly and so sinful. And I know what I know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I knew good and I knew bad. So like, even though I knew good, I was still doing bad, even knowing that it was bad. Yeah. But it was just my flesh it was just me being in my flesh, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I realize now. Before, it was like, I just knew what I knew, and it was what it was. But I seen that in particular, and it was like, it just made me question it. And not for nothing, another thing is that I'm real bold. Like, I'm gonna ask whatever I ask, you know what I'm saying? So and one thing to know about me is that it's not to be intentionally like bad or to press anything, but that's one thing that I took, that if I got a question, I'm gonna ask it. I don't care how you feel about it. And not that I'm being inconsiderate. It's just if I really don't know something, I don't understand. I don't see where you could take offense to somebody that doesn't know something to answer. You know, ask a question to answer. You know what I'm saying? So I asked him like, "Yo, what's up, bro? Like, what's your drug? Like, what you do? Like, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you talking all this holy stuff? Like, this is literally verbatim. Like, yo, like, why you like this, bro? We from the, and this is me knowing already. Like, analyzing. I already analyzed this dude because we've been working for a few months together.
Facts.
So it's like, yo, bro, like, what you do? Like,
we ain't never ever talked like that ever. Like, never. We both from the hood. Like,
and like I said, I was random and bold. And like I said, we never talked like that. But I wasn't afraid to ask that, because what's the worst you could do? Yo, let's go outside and fight, man. Like, you just asked me you some crazy out of line stuff. Like, bro, come on, chill. A lot of people be like that though. But you know, I'm just like, I can't see no harm in asking the question. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I asked him like, yo, what's this about, bro? Like, you just like me, bro. Like, you just a supervisor. You know what I'm saying? Right,
exactly. And that's all it is.
You know what you say.
I just was like, yo, man, that's just the way we supposed to. I was going through my own thing at the time. And, you know, not me and Vic, we wasn't as close as we are now. So the best thing that I could tell him without him being all up in my business,
because I was going to be in his business after that.
Not for nothing, was just like, yo, man, that's just the way that we supposed to live. And I had already started putting my foot forward as far as like me stepping out on my faith and me really being bold, bro. Because you gotta be bold, man. 98% of the people in this world want you to, you know, grab at the fat butt walking down the street and talk about the girl and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Or like you scroll on Instagram and 9 times out of 10 is get money, and live life and this, that, and the third. So when you do see somebody that's out of the ordinary, when you do see somebody that's like, nah, like I'm not lusting after no female, it kind of makes you think like, huh? Because we're so used to the world, bro.
And you know how people question it?
Yeah.
But don't say anything sometimes.
Right.
I question it and I said something.
Yeah,
and
facts.
That, not for nothing, I feel like that's what broke the threshold on like us actually trying to get to know each other. Not for nothing. Like, after that, I was just like, dang, I want to know everything about this dude for real. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I'm like, yo, like, what's this, man? Like, what happened? And little by little, I didn't want to be too pressing on it, but I tried to get to know Derek more, and I kind of seen him as my contemporary now. Like, now, like, ice was broken, and I remember a little bit after, you ended up telling me like the real, like, what really had it, and I'm just like, yo, you know what? I put you at a standard, like, and I don't regret it either, because yo, I put all my friends on a pedestal, but I put them on a high horse, and I'm like, yo, this dude got everything together, whatever the case is, and that's probably my mental, because of how I maybe perceive myself, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like, yo, everybody, you know what I mean? I'm at the bottom of the pit and all that, so I really was just like, yo, let me try to get to know this guy now, you know what I'm saying? Let me step out my comfort zone without trying to be overbearing. And not for nothing, I don't regret one bit of it, because that's what brought us like this close.
Facts. I love it, because our conversations from that moment forward started, and that wasn't even when we started to get into like Christ. That's the crazy part of it.
That's the beginning.
Yeah, that was just the beginning, bro. And next thing you know, we started having conversations about the ops in the warehouse, not for nothing, and how like they plotting on you or people talking about you.
And it started from something just like so irrelevant like that.
Yeah, bro. And it just was like, you know, we constantly talk to each other and just talk about where we came from and how like since we were born, bro, society is against us, bro. Since we were born, like we are minorities, bro. So since we were born, those are the conversations we would have. And then next thing you know, we had that one conversation where, I was talking, I'll let you tell it. All
right, well, I mean, naturally, and I can tell as much as I can remember.
Yeah, facts.
Naturally, like, in that aspect, we just clicked. It was like the relationship without Jesus Christ. It was like a personal relationship at that point. So it was like we're getting to know each other on a personal level first. Yeah. And that's where we grew more respect for each other, I feel like, because it wasn't like something that was prompted. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that was out of a book or anything like that at that point. It was just like getting to know each other for real, like, and just like humans, like, you know what I'm saying? So that is more respected. That was more respected with me because at the same time, you got to break through my threshold and I felt the same way as him. So it was like at that point we're at a common ground, like a mutual level, if you will. And from there, like, it flourished. And I remember this one conversation in particular that we were standing. It was probably like 4 o'clock, maybe 5.
Yeah. It was about like 4 o'clock. We get out at 6 p.m. So it was like around 4.
It was around 4 o'clock, and we were just talking about, I think it was like the Quran or something like that, was it?
Nah, I remember you approached me at the desk. I'm going to be very transparent. I don't care who watching this. If the people at DHL watching this, then it is what it is. Victor approached me at the desk, and I don't know, for whatever reason, we just started talking about the Bible, and we just started talking about Christ. And at this moment in my walk in faith, I was very bold. Everything was Christ, Jesus, Christ. Like that's how it is in the beginning. Like when you first like on fire for everything is Christ, everything is Jesus. Yo, Jesus? Yo, facts. So Victor being analytical was just like, yo, like, but why are you so bold in your faith? Like, how are you so willing to just be out there and just like, and one question in particular, he was like, how do you know that that's the faith? How do you know that that's real? How do you know that that's the truth? Because, again, growing up Jehovah's Witness and getting introduced to Hebrew Israelites and Islam and all this, that, mind you, my father is a Muslim.
So that's something different too. Like, so it's like 3 different aspects coming together to just agree on one thing.
Right.
And that's literally what was happening. Like it was question until we were building to a conclusion that we both agreed on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And in the end, it just was like, the one thing that I said was just like, yo, just read the book. Just read the book. I didn't say anything else. I was like, yo, just read it, bro. It's the truth. It does not lie. There's things in this book. I've applied them to my life, and exactly what Jesus promised is what exactly happened. Facts. Like I don't know how anybody else is walking, but when I applied this wisdom to my life, this is what happened, and what they said was going to happen is what happened. So I'm living in the truth. I cannot tell you otherwise. And coming from that conversation, it was me, you, and another. I can't name drop, but it was me, you, and another person, and we was sitting there in that circle for a good hour and like an hour and a half,
maybe. I would say
an hour and a half from 4
and
all the way to like 5:30.
We could have kept going,
facts.
honestly, but Derek had to put the cap on it.
And, word.
And I was gonna say, not for nothing,
because they was trying to get me fired.
Yeah, not for nothing, man. I just wanted to say that like you said, with where you coming from and where I was coming from, it was like 2 totally different things, but at the same time I had stepped out of where I had been previously, which is Jehovah's Witness thing, a long time ago prior to that. So not for nothing, I was really like in the world and how to I try to obtain a lot of knowledge, like, you know, with the whitewashing thing, with the white man, and like, you know, the Caucasians and stuff like that, and
white
like
man's religion,
and even the Hebrew Israelite route I took, because and not even trying to be that, but like trying to just obtain the knowledge and just
find the truth,
because at the same time there's a lot of things that are here. So but like it was really like with the Hebrew Israelite thing and trying to find out like from my father's root, because I had really like dug deep and tried to figure out like the 12 tribes of Judah thing, you know what I'm saying? Like where you came from and stuff like that, and whatever tribe you came from, you had a book pertain to your tribe. So in this case, it was my father, and I didn't know much about my father, but I knew he was Dominican. You know what I'm saying? And that Dominican, it came from the tribe of Simeon or something like that, right? So like I said, it's to my knowledge. So if I'm wrong, I apologize, but
leave it in the comments.
That's exactly. So that's what I had known, and that's what I was, fed to, as you would say in terms of like trying to figure out, what was what. You know what I'm saying? Like so not for nothing, to give you kind of a little bit of context, it was like I was really like all trying to be into everything that, except for like spirituality and witchcraft, because that's crazy. Yeah. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. That sorcery thing, forget all that. But anyway, seeing the tribe of Simeon pertain to the book of Maccabees 1 and 2. Yo, at the end of the day, none of that matters. I'll tell you right now, none of that matters.
What?
Because at the end of the day, there's only one truth. And speak as you will to be it controversial or whatever the case is, but everybody knows Jesus.
Facts.
Why wouldn't you just take that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand, people are hard-headed, hardened hearts, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, but because like I said, there was, with the context, like, I was Jehovah's Witness, grew up Jehovah's Witness. I'm looking into to my father's tribes and the tribe of Judah. Yo, at the end of the day, you can know anything you want to know. You can try to obtain all the knowledge you want to know. But it all really comes down to one thing. You know what I'm saying? It all comes down to somebody sacrificed their life, and not somebody. The somebody sacrificed.
Somebody. Boy, you better talk that talk.
You know what I'm saying?
You better talk. So listen. Man, listen, and Jesus came from the tribe of Judah. So, just in case you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, he actually made the 12 tribes. So. Yes. Yeah, so I mean.
So let me ask you this, man. Growing up how you grew up, you have an encounter, you really start thinking about your faith, man. How, two things. One, how has it been since, really trying to step out on your faith and really live for God, really live for Christ? And two, what are some tips? Okay, two things. What are some struggles you went through? How has it been so far? What are some struggles you went through? And what are some tips that you would give to somebody out there that's like, that's willing to try to understand who was the older Vic or the younger Vic, and they're curious, but they just don't know where to go. They just don't know where to, start. What kind of tips would you give them? But at first, tell us about like how, what kind of things have you been through?
Well, I would say this, right? So I had this shirt when I was younger, and it's basically like one of those stick figure shirts. And it read, "I'm not evil, just misunderstood." Ooh. All right, so I feel like this was something that was brought up to my mind a lot, and people thought it was a cute shirt or whatever the case. They thought it was funny, but in reality, that's really how I felt. Wow. Like, I really felt like this shirt pertained to me, because not for nothing, I was depicted as like a bad kid, and I did bad things. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do no jailbird things. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? But I had my fair share of like rebellion and trying to, be that guy or whatever the case is. Yeah. And people really saw me like, a troublemaker sometimes and just no good. And I seen that. Like I said, I'm analytical. But I thought, being a people pleaser or whatever the case is, that didn't matter. Like, nobody's opinion mattered to me. And not that it did, because it don't. But at the same time, I wanted to uphold myself to a higher standard at some point, because I was really smart, not for nothing. Like I'm not one of those guys that thought like, yo, I'm gonna get rich off this drug game or whatever the case is. Like, nah, I'm like, yo, I can't be doing this. I can't be doing this at 25, 21 plus. I can't do that. Like, that's where I realized like, yo, this is where I was from. It don't necessarily have to mean that this is who I am.
Oh my gosh. So
that was something that was really important to me, and that hit me young. But with that, it was still depiction of who I was or who people thought I was, and that didn't sit well with me at all. Like it was something that like I just didn't, because at the same time, at a certain point, young, that I didn't care about what people did. I did everything to do, you know, for myself, and not even caring what people thought. So I think that played a little part in it. But I feel like, you know, not having a father again, I was really on my own. So it was like, yo, not even my pops, you know, cared to be around. So like, why would I care about what y'all think? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is where I freed the shackles in my life. I like I took the shackles off, and then it was like, I ain't got nothing else, man. I'm gonna just try this. The Lord got me. You feel me? At the end of the day, and like I said, I knew in my head that it was right. It's the right thing to do. That it was the way. I knew it was the way. I knew it, man. Like when you know. It's like it's inevitable to get there. It's inevitable. I promise you, man. You just gotta have that. Your heart. You gotta have that heart to know. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it took for me to have heart in the sense of like, to turn away from everything. I had to have heart to do that. So that was just a testament to who I became now. It was like, dog, like if I could just turn away from y'all, and my dad could turn away from me, then I could really just do my own thing. And that's when I had realized like, yo, like it's easier like this. Not for nothing. And I didn't need nothing from it. It didn't, you know what I'm saying? It didn't do nothing but good for me. Right. And I seen that it was doing good. And not for nothing, I felt like everything in my life was too good to be true. And usually it was. Like the things I got, the people I met in my life, the girlfriends I had, if you will. Like, I'm like, I always mess that up because I'm like, yo, this is too good to be true. But that's something that I put in my head. And not for nothing, the difference with that and with my walk is that, this right here could have been too good to be true, and maybe it was too good to be true because it was a false truth. Wow. But this right here, this Jesus, this Lord, my Savior, like his stuff don't come back void. Facts. And that's something that stuck with me. That's something that when I heard it, I'm like, I can just expect it. I have to expect it to be better than that. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, it hasn't let me down yet. Yes, it has not let me down yet. And I tell you right now, the past few months, and I've been in it for probably like 2-3 years now, continuously and you know, here and there, back and forth. But the past few months, digging real deep into my thing and like getting it now, I feel like with age, you know, you become wiser too. And that right there, it just solidified it. It solidified my foundation. And like I said, with these last few months, it's been nothing but up. Like nothing but up. Like, man. And not for nothing, the one thing that stuck out for me too is the peace. Like throughout these last few months, the peace that I've had, it can't compare to anything that I've been through in my life, bro. Man. Anything that I've been through. And this is real. Like, y'all, if y'all know me, if y'all watching this podcast and y'all know me, y'all know that it's like, yo, who would have thought this dude Vic, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
On camera, like, Professor the Lord Jesus
like,
Christ.
No, but real talk, like, it hasn't been bad at all. It's only been great, and it's gotten greater. And this is just a few months. So imagine you get on and just try it out. Like, you be trying every type of drug. You know what I mean? You be trying every type of alcohol. You be trying every type of, you know, spirituality, religion, whatever you want to do, man. Witchcraft, man. Like, ancestry, whatever. Like, man,
it's not for nothing. Ancestry.
It's cool to know all that.
Not me finding out that I'm Polish.
It's all right to know all that. But at the end of the day, man, like, your foundation has to be solid on something, on one thing, and not for nothing, man. Yeah. If you've heard it before, God created the heavens and the earth, man. Facts. God created the heavens. God Facts. Did. God. Not just somebody. God did. That's word up. And like I said, if you know me, you know, people say I'm relatable, that whatever the case is, but bro, like, I don't need that. I don't need none of that. I did this on my own, and I see where it leads me. And it's nothing but good, and I'm never gonna stop. That's a fact. I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, man. That's your testimony, bro.
Man. And I done had mad testimony. This is just this. You know what I'm saying? This podcast could just go so long, but like, yo, I could tell you a few testimonies that I had that literally it was from the world connected to the spirit, and the spirit helped me.
Talk about it.
And I just thought about the spirit, and literally even before 2-3 years that I'm in my faith, man, I used to pray to God, like. I used to pray to God and Jesus, and one day I would close my eyes and I was outside in the struggle, probably, you know, didn't have a place to go. That's why I'm like, yo, God, help me. And I open my eyes and there's something falling. There's something from the sky falling. And whether it's God or not, man, I just knew that it was a sign, because I told God to give me a sign.
Wow.
I told God to give me a sign, and it's in the air, and it may be a meteor that's evaporating in the air, but how ironic is it though that I asked for a sign, and this just comes out of the sky, and it's in the middle of my face. It's not, man. Yeah. You could only experience it. I mean, you could only believe it if you experience it sometimes, but also faith has a lot to do with that, man. Like, my faith is real strong in that, yo.
Yeah.
So
my final question for you, bro, is somebody out there is watching this right now, and they were you, and they were going through the same thing as you, bro. What are some tips? What is some guidance? What is some wisdom that you would give to somebody right now to help them, like some practical stuff? You know what I'm saying? So you know, what's one thing that you would give them that would help them in their walk and get them closer to Jesus?
All right, so I'll tell you this first, right? I was a bad kid in school. I was a class clown. I was a clown, man. And
you still a clown. You
I'm smarter though. but nah, man, for real, on a serious note, like, I was a clown. I was bad. I was picked on. It was a year that I was picked on. That whole year, man. That whole year I was just ridiculed, but I went to school every single day. Trust that I had to, because my mother would have whooped my butt. But I had to go through that. And had she not done that, I probably would not be where I'm at right now. But like I said, I've been through the struggle. I was in that, man. I was in that struggle, man. I was trying to find a way for me and my mom to find another place to live, because we getting evicted every month. We moving. Every month we moving. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Just so we could get that, you know what I'm saying? Or every year we're moving. So I never had a steady home. Yo, literally, I'm that struggle for real. Like, I'm that bottom of the barrel struggle, and it's not even no hood fab, no nothing like that, yo. This is literally like the gutter. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. That's where I was. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, you know, I went through all that, and it wasn't for no reason. After that, I found the Lord, and I found Jesus Christ, and it's been a life-changing experience, and I'm sorry that it had to be till I was like 25 years old maybe to find that. But look, even me at 25 years old, 25, I was struggling ever since then. And you know, I'm kind of still struggling now, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm good. Like, I'm good. It's like the whole mindset of just knowing that I'm gonna be straight. Like, because after this is something. There's something. Facts. There is something after this. I promise you, man. Facts. However you want to believe, it's no reincarnation. Personally, to me, it's heaven. It's heaven or hell. So like, you gonna get with it or go to hell, not for nothing. And this is all out of love.
You're going to hell.
This is all out of love, because at the end of the day, man, if you really love somebody, then you gonna tell them like, look, stop smoking, yo. That's gonna give you cancer. You're not gonna be like, yo, nah, it's all right, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Nah, if you love them, that's real love. Telling them to stop, telling them things you don't want them, like, they don't want to hear, but they have to hear because it's gonna benefit them. Or if you don't tell them, it's gonna be their detriment. It's gonna be their downfall. So that's something that, that's something that's real, like, it's real important, man. It was real prominent in my life. So I tell y'all, because It could be you, anybody. You could be homeless. You could be, you know what I'm saying? You could be a thot, or you could be a gangster, a hustler.
Word.
Anybody, not a thot, but
not even a thot. Rahab was a thot.
Yeah, so not for nothing. Basically, man, if you doing something wrong and somebody telling you, not telling you that it's wrong, man, and they don't care about you. You feel me? Like,
yeah.
Find God. Yeah. Find God. Find Jesus, man. Jesus was my way, and Jesus worked. It worked for me. I don't know how it could work for you, but it could work for you. It could work for you. So
I just think, just find Jesus's people. That's what it is, man. Just find Jesus's people. Like, where there are 2 or 3, he is there in the midst. So a lot of people try to do this on their own. I am the biggest advocate for fellowship. I am the biggest advocate for fellowship. I'm telling you, that is where it is, bro. A lot of people are out there trying to do it on their own, and it's okay to isolate yourself from sometimes, because you can't be around everybody all the time at every single second of the day. I understand that. I get that. But for the most part, you have to be. The whole book, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, it talks about how if you're by yourself, the devil is he can attack you more easily because you're by yourself. But when you're with somebody, y'all can stand side by side, back to back, and y'all can withstand any type of attack by the devil, man. Y'all can pull each other up when y'all are getting low, and y'all can be there for each other. And as we all know, a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So the more people you with, the more people you congregate with, the more people you're around, the more people you fellowship with, it only gets better. And if you are around some people that you might feel as though are hypocrites or aren't godly and things like that,
cool. You can never be too cool, man. Don't ever be too cool.
Find some other people, bro. Then find some other people. Like, it's not, it's not. And one thing, this is a spiritual warfare. It's not a fleshly warfare. And what I mean by that is sometimes you have to separate the sin from the sinner. You have to separate the sin from the sinner. That takes a lot of faith to separate the sin from the sinner, because that's the foundation of forgiveness, separating the sin from the sinner. Because just like how we talked about last night, you have to be willing to say, I'm not hurt by the things you did to me. I'm hurt at the fact that your spirit is to a place where you're starting to react out of separation from God. You know what I'm saying? And once you start looking at it like that, that's a whole nother topic from a whole nother podcast. But all I say is, that's one tip that I always tell people, man, is fellowship. Get with some people who are Bible based, who have a relationship with Jesus, and aren't just going to Sunday, clapping their hands, praising the Lord, and then Monday through Saturday they out doing whatever, and they don't pray, and they don't read the Bible, and they don't do none of that, and they don't give you wisdom from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They're giving you earthly wisdom. They're giving you worldly wisdom. You want some people that, whenever you ask them for wisdom, they referring back to the Bible. That's the people that I love to be around. It's like, yo, Vic, man, how can you help me out with this situation? All right, let's figure out what the Bible says about this situation. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, you still want to have, you still want to be a human, and you still want to think for yourself. But at the same time, that's our foundation, man. Our foundation is the word of God. So we want to stand on that. So fellowship, that's the one thing that I always try to tell people, fellowship, man. But other than that, man, I am so happy to have you on here, bro. This was an amazing episode. Long overdue. I love you, bro.
I love you too, bro.
I love you, though.
I tell you this all the time. Dearly.
That's a fact, though.
We like blood. And
that's a fact, bro.
Ain't nothing gonna change that forever.
I appreciate you. Somebody's gonna look at this and they're gonna be touched, bro. And that's, the Bible talks all about it. Share your testimony. Tell everybody about the wonderful things that God has done for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we can't, then how are people going to know? You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for coming on this podcast and just sharing your testimony, bro.
Of course.
Until next time, man. Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.